That's hundreds of. It's behind the cloak vow.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's loads of people I think that kind of they want to be seen as the champion of female comedians and things like that,
Mm.
but they're very vocal about it. Now, I very much want to be the same, but I don't feel the need that you have to go and shout to everybody about how great you are and, go on all the forums saying this is great for female comedians when you're a middle-aged white man. It's
Uh,
like
uh,
just
uh,
be normal, don't be a dick and you'll be fine.
it reminds me words of Do you remember the Ricky Gervais skit when the guys leaving the house? Like, bye, mum. He's like, oh yeah, don't forget, don't go graping anyone. I use the word grape. She's like, what? Can't do that. Can't grape. It's like, well, obviously, like, you know what I mean? Like, you haven't got to be a bastion for it. You haven't got to, yeah, like you're saying, like,
Yeah,
go on the media and stuff and say, I'm against this. Well, why is this living in your head rent free?
yeah. Are you really against it, or do you just feel that you need to say you're against it?
Yeah, yeah, 100. It's like, yeah, like people going, like, I'm not racist, I'm not homophobic. You haven't got a need to say it. Just say what you want, say with conviction, and your own moral compass, anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, completely agree on that, and it is shocking. Like I said, I would have mentioned I got a bit of a hate speech for my gig yesterday about a Muslim joke, called Islamophobic, all that punching down. But I was punching down at the government as well,
Yeah.
which it shocked me. It truly is my first bit of hate, but it went quite well, to be honest. I got more followers from it, so I mean, would you always say there's no such thing as bad publicity?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, I know there's a couple of people up. So I'm in the northeast of England, so there's a couple of people here who have been complete wrong-uns,
Yeah,
and they're off the scene now. So yes, there is such a thing as bad publicity because they're not doing anything anymore. But
wrong ones,
that's
as in people or material.
wrong-uns as in people, as
Oh,
in
but then they're just bad
stalking
breeds,
and shit
anyways.
like that.
Yeah, they're just bad breeds, anyways.
Yeah.
To be honest, like there's some dog breeds that shouldn't exist because they're not fit for purpose. Like,
But
and
yeah,
same with
material though.
people.
Say what you want, right? I'm a thorough believer in and a comedian should be allowed to say and do whatever the hell they want on
Mhm.
stage. Now, this comes down to a book I read by Stuart Lee. It was a novel. It's called The Perfect Fool, but in it he goes into the court jesters,
Mhm.
and he said back in medieval times, court jesters were the only people who could say anything bad about the king and get away with it.
Mhm.
And I think that's comedy's role. It's for people to go on and say things that you can't say normally.
Yeah.
And then the audience will tell you if you're right or wrong. It's not down to someone to go into the press and say this person said this, so loads of people jump on them and cancel them. It's like if it's funny, the audience will laugh. If it's not funny, the audience won't laugh. So then you know what to do and what not to do.
I agree with that, but I want to take it one step further. The press also have the right to do that. I just hate the fact that there's so many idiots out there who believe it.
Yeah.
That's the bit I get upset about. That people draw to the conclusions based on something someone else says without doing their own research. That's the bit that winds me up. The press have got every right to slag you off. You can do a not joke. I could say, "Oh, Kenny's the shittest comedian in the world. Let's all hate him." And anyone who agrees with me based because it's me saying it is the wrong one. They're the
Yeah.
ones who are the problem in society.
I used to do this bit where I would go on it and
Knock knock.
yeah, it was knock knock.
Not doing
Knock
that one
knock,
again.
who's there? A big asshole. No. I used to do this bit where I would start. So I consider myself to be quite woke anyway,
Yep.
but I'm woke in the way that I believe everyone has the right to say and do anything, which is probably the ultimate of wokeness. So I'm woke enough that I believe that you could go on stage and say something that's racist. I wouldn't agree with what you said. I probably wouldn't go and watch it again, but you can.
Hmm.
But I went on stage and I'd done a bit about J.K. Rowling and stuff like that, and her stance on trans. Now, I don't know what your stance is. I don't care.
Hmm.
Um, but I then went in and went, the thing is, when I was younger, because I'm quite old anyway, we didn't even have such thing as pronouns because back then all nouns had to be amateur, right? And it's a play on language, and it's a play on if you're old enough to understand that things like rugby union, you weren't a professional sport. And it used to get a really big laugh just because of the way it did. And then I noticed that the audience started to not laugh at it, and then it would occasionally get a groan. And I never changed the setup, I never changed the way I delivered the joke or anything. And the audience changed, and I couldn't quite work out why. So I dropped that because the audience told me not to do it. But it's down to the people are being told what to do, and then they're expecting to be offended and not actually listening to what you're saying. Whereas I didn't say anything at all about the trans debate or how people identify there, but they just assumed I did.
Yeah, I mean, well, they get almost as annoyed on the premise.
Yeah.
Not the, it's like I've got a joke and I've dropped it now because I just don't like doing it as much. It's a gay marriage joke. Goes along the lines of when a man gets married, his workload decreases by an hour. When a woman gets married, her workload increases by 6 hours. That's why I'm against gay marriage. They've got more time in the day to go to the gym, do their hair. That's why they look fantastic. In fact, if I sucked enough dick, I might be able to get myself a girlfriend. Like, it's a misdirection. It's not homophobic in any way. But the second you do I'm against gay marriage, they think, oh no, we don't like that. It's like, well, listen to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, would you say like the crowds have changed now, and you almost need to always put on a positive persona now, or do you think that's just more the open mic amateur level?
Uh, I think it depends where you are. So, I mean, the crowd I'm talking about was the Stand in Newcastle. So, like the biggest comedy club up in the
Yeah,
northeast. So, but they're quite a young crowd, and I
yeah, it's a
think that
student town, Newcastle,
yeah,
isn't it? So
yeah. So I think it's more they're kind of a bit like, oh no, we're not meant to like this because they've not got enough life experience to realize that not everything is there to offend you or have a go at you.
yeah, completely. I mean, I'm from London, so
And you can tell.
I basically I gig mostly in Essex now because of sort of the London scene on the open mic sort of level. So Kenny, cheers for coming on. I haven't even introduced you yet, brother. So yeah, I watched sort of Kenny's stuff. Absolutely fell in love with it. Saw you was running a great night up north, so I wanted to get you on. So thanks for
Cool.
joining me, Kenny.
Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure, brother. So
And
Kenny,
I promise I won't show my deck.
oh yes, oh, okay. We're recording now. Make sure it's not out. So, for context, people, in advance, real quick, I was quickly going through the terms of service, and basically, it's so weird the rules. So you can be topless, but you can't show your genitals. You can't you can't incite hate crime, but you can be racist. You can have a gun, you can show a gun, but you can't shoot a gun on stage, on the camera. There's weird terms of service. So that was the brilliant penis callback joke that no one will get, I'm afraid, Kenny.
Yeah, it's a great callback for people who didn't see the setup. So
The joke you made to the comedian before you got on the stage,
yeah,
that was the callback that only one person got in the room. Love it. So, Kenny, I always sort of start these off the same way. How and why did we get into comedy?
I have a complete proper X Factor Britain's Got Talent type sob story as
Love
to
it.
how I got into comedy.
I'm gonna light up for
Um,
this one. Sit back and
So,
enjoy it.
right, so I guess I mean, I'm old. I'm in my late 40s. I've loved comedy all my life. First person I ever saw do stand up was Rick Mail at Eden Court Theatre in Inverness.
Go, absolute go.
Absolutely amazing. So, so I always thought I want to do this, and I never had the balls to do it. And I lived in Edinburgh for 20 years, lived at the festival for a month, going out every night. Used to go all the amateur comedy nights and stuff in Edinburgh anyway, and kept writing stuff and saying, oh, my friends all the time, I'm going to do this one day, I'm going to do this. Didn't get round to doing it. I moved to Middlesbrough because, why wouldn't you move to Middlesbrough? It's fucking lovely here. My wife's from here.
Yeah.
So I moved to Middlesbrough and lockdown happened. Nothing to do. And then one of my friends got bowel cancer.
That's
And
a
he
shame.
ended up in a hospice. And like as lockdowns are coming out, I went up to visit him in the hospice in Glasgow. And I was talking to him and I said to him, oh, they're running a comedy course down here. I think I might do it. And he just looked at me and he went, for fuck's sake, Kenny, you've been saying this for 20 fucking years. Just go and do it. And I'm like, he's on his deathbed. And so I basically was forced into it by someone on their deathbed. And it turns out I quite liked it. So
I mean, he really wasted his make a wish, didn't he? To be
yeah,
honest.
yeah let's tell a fat, hairy Highlander to go and do comedy.
Yeah, could have had anything he wanted. He wanted Highlander to do comedy. I was like, no. So you started on via a course,
Yeah, but do you know, I think the course was more just to force me to do it.
right? Was it
Um,
was it an ultra?
no, it was one here run by a company called Shoecake Comedy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Um, couple of great guys running the course. Um, they had a structure to it that they just didn't stick to. And in the end, what I think we ended up doing most weeks was there was 10 of us there. They just shove us on a little stage, get us to do the little bit that we'd written, and then everyone would critique you and no one would laugh. So it sets you up for doing the open mic circuit anyway.
Yeah.
So
Actually, 10 people is a bit too much, to be honest. I've
I
never
don't
played a
know,
room
in
so
London you've
busy.
got bringers, don't you?
I've heard it.
You've got bringers in London, so you've got as many
Oh,
people in the audience as comedians.
you couldn't let me go one episode without bringing up bringers. Right, hate speech time.
Wait, before you get to it, do you know everybody up north laughs at London for bringers?
Yes, I do. I do. We are a joke of the country. Yeah, not just because of Sadiq Khan, but because of bringers. I don't know what's more laughable, to be honest. Like the fact that you've got to bring someone to get onto stage, and then you got to stay and all that. The unwritten rule in comedy is, I'll bring the funny, you bring the people.
Yeah,
That's the unwritten rule. And no, I know I'm going to shock people when I say this. London's expensive.
no,
London's expensive. I mean, I was gigging in Essex last night. £7.50 a pint.
750.
Yeah,
So I was
and that's
in
Essex.
Darling.
Imagine what London is. Like, I remember I bought a cocktail because it said like cocktail deal. Oh no, I was a minute before. Sorry, no fine, no problem. 22 quid.
I was in Darlington the other day, so it's what about 20 miles away from Middlesbrough. £2.33 a pint.
Exactly. The thing is, we all know how much it costs.
Yeah,
Right. I owned a pub. Okay, I average probably a pint cost me probably £1.20. That's how much it cost me to buy.
yeah.
Now, I tell you now, cocaine has less of a markup than fucking alcohol in London. It is ridiculous. It's expensive, and they want you to bring, they want you to stay to the end. But the thing is, though, it's given a false reality of comedy. So if you bring three, four of your mates, one, if they're my mates will call me shit for the sake because they want to call me shit. But
Yeah,
if they were like cheerleaders, they give you a false sense of reality if you're good or not. Like
yeah,
that's why I think comedy classes are great. I think they're great to learn the material, and it's almost like you signed up to something, so you are going to go on stage.
yeah.
It's that push. But there is a difference between a room where everyone wants you to do well and a room where afterwards, on the open mic level, then moving your way up, where no one gives a shit.
Yeah, well, I did a showcase, and the showcase was in front of like 100 people, and like I got applause breaks and everything. I thought I was the best comedian in Britain,
Yeah,
and then a week later, I went to a little pub in Newcastle. I think there was about 5 people there, and they tittered.
yeah. But then that's sort of like the reality call. But I think so many people would drop out after that. Then you keep
Yeah,
then jumping to the fact that you caught the bug and you wanted to keep on going.
there's two of us who still gig, and that's it.
Yeah, it is a thin job. And why do you think that is?
Some people I think wanted to do it just to say they'd done it once,
Yeah,
or sort of make friends and stuff like that. I think some people didn't realize the reality of it's traveling for a couple of hours on a Wednesday night in the dark when it's raining, you've not had time to eat, and you go and stand in front of 10 people in Manchester who don't laugh at you. So
Yeah, it's hard. But then how would you say up north? How would you say you then progress onto? So what's the usual steps up north? So you start off with your 5 minutes in a pub with one man and his dog. What's
I
sort of
don't,
like the career progression?
yeah, so I didn't even really start with fives. I'd
Oh,
done
so
a couple of
fives is a
places.
thing down south as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to suck a
Well,
promoter's dick to get a 10 down here.
yeah. Well, they've only just started giving me tens at the stand. So, um, I was doing fives at the stand, and I did a couple of fives, and I just went, it's just too hard to do fives. So I
Five's
just started
harder.
saying,
Five's harder than a
yeah,
15 than a 20.
yeah. Well, I mostly do tens or 15s,
Mm.
and it's just easier because you just shove a couple of laughs in at the start, and then you've got time to tell an actual story in the middle,
Yeah.
and then end by calling them all dickheads or something. But
I love it. Also, quickly going to go one more further rant thing about bringer spots as well, because it's now on my head and I need to go. Talking about up north, you get your 10s, you get your 15s. You'll get about six comedians on the bill, probably around that usually.
it depends. I mean, if some of the open mics I've done have they've shoved 10 on and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Down south, I've been on ones where they've had 20 comedians on and all 5 minutes. I mean, this was not a bringer spot, so I respect it. I respect that enough. But like bringer ones where they're like, you got to bring people, you only get 5 minutes. We're going to, do you know what I mean, have 20 people on the bill and look how busy we are.
yeah, but your audience is knackered by the end of it as well.
Yeah, they are. And especially when they don't want to be there. So sort of start with 10 to 15. How do you sort of move on to the paid work up north?
So it's all kind of word of mouth and sending videos to people who put stuff on the forums and Facebook and stuff like that. I mean, I assume it works similarly down south, but I
Well,
don't.
I honestly don't know. What I did is I started a podcast and that gets me talking to people. But this is my form of nepotism so much. But with sort of being a comedian now, how much do you think is the being funny on stage versus being online, having the followers, the networking, all that?
I can't be arsed doing the online followers network stuff. I did a lot early on and I was posting stuff, and now, like, I just can't be bothered doing it. So I had a really good gig last Wednesday. Probably got, so I record every single gig I do. Um, Not for any reason other than I just like to see how I move on stage and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but occasionally you go, oh, there's going to be a good bit there. I'm going to post it on socials. Now I know from last week that I have 3 or 4 really good bits that I could put on. I just can't be arsed sitting down and editing them into the right
Yeah.
bits and stuff like that. So I've found going online, talking to people on forums and talking to people in green rooms is probably got me in a better place than actually just posting stuff online.
Okay. Yeah. I I do love a green room, and one thing I sort of do like is I mean when I sort of started out, I saw like a lot of comedians, they try and be funny all the time, not on stage.
Yeah,
But then when you like getting a little bit, you just talk about your day, to be
I
honest. And
tend
then
to talk about wrestling.
fair enough. I know nothing about wrestling, unfortunately. So
Yeah, then most people I talk to don't, and they just kind of look blankly at me like you're an old man talking to me about like greased up muscle guys in
yeah,
trunks. What's wrong with you?
yeah. Looking back, it's kind of gay. Can't lie, to be
Oh,
honest.
completely. I've once been told I'm the gayest straight man someone's ever met. So,
Brilliant. Love that. I mean, I've come across quite flamboyant. Like, you look at these alpha men, you're like, "Oh, this looks like a lot of work." Like, I'm happy in my little camp, to be honest. So what sort of like so yeah, we started it was about 2 years ago, yeah.
yeah.
So what did you learn from the comedy course?
Uh, I think one of the main things I learned was things need to be concise. So, I would do a 3, 4 line setup for a joke. And then I would send it to one of the guys doing the course. And he'd come back going, you basically need 5 words there and you'll
Mm.
get a laugh. Whereas now people are waiting for it and waiting for it, and then the payoff's not enough. So
Yeah.
I think like just be more concise with what you're saying on stage.
Yeah, completely agree with that. I think like one of my favorite things to do is like when you've got like because I'll ask you in a second. Like I write all my bits out like a script, and then I redo it, and if I can get it down from 200 words down to 120 words, that's like my
Yeah.
favorite moment almost. Like, how do you write your jokes?
So I scribble down ideas on my phone all the time. If
Okay.
anyone found my notes on my phone, they would look at it and go, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" Things like funeral directors, kids eat free, and they're like, "What?" um, but then I go through my notes every so often, write them out in full, so I can see it there. Then I put it into headers, and then I never look at what I've written out in full again. And then I'll record it on my recorder on my phone,
Okay.
just looking at the headers and go through it time and time and time again, just trying to find out what the flow is and how it works there. So
Okay. And how many times would you sort of like try a joke before you bin it or keep it, or do you know if it's funny or not? You just
it
know it needs to be
depends on the
tweaking.
joke, really. I mean, I did basically a scratch night, for want of a better expression, the other week, where I said to him it was mates that were running, and I was like, "Look, I'm coming with stuff that I've not even finished yet. Is that fine?" And they went, "Yeah, whatever. Take notes on stage if you want." You know.
Okay.
So I went on and I did 3 new bits. None of them hit, but one of them I knew would never work. And two of them, just by looking at the way the audience reacted, I'm like, there's something there. So I need to work on it. And then I did them last week and they flew. They were brilliant. So
Good. I mean, um, how was I going to say this one? I was gone blank on that. So, so I'm trying to kill the air. Fuck me, what was I about to say? So really important bit I was about to say on that. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay. Sorry, dude. So one thing I'm sort of having right now is I'm coming a bit complacent with some of my bits. Like, well,
yeah,
hey. So like I said, I did a 15 yesterday, and about 13 minutes of it was all stuff I've done now over and over again. As a comedian, do you think it's important to always do new material, or when you're new, just get a solid bit, get a solid 15, and then after?
I guess it depends on your ambition, doesn't it? Because I know people that were starting out on the circuit about the same time as me, and they're still doing the same bits. And like I could go and do their routines. But to be fair, their bits, while they weren't hitting 2 years ago, they're killing it now.
Mm.
But I get really bored of my set.
I think that's the problem like with comedians. Like you hear your own jokes
Yeah,
every day, so you start to devalue them internally.
absolutely, yeah. So I just keep writing new bits, not because they're bad or I couldn't do them better, but just because I'm bored of them.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, would you say that's self-sabotaging?
Absolutely. So I've got a couple of bits like they wouldn't work me telling you in the podcast and stuff because of context, but I've got a bit that I did about because I come from the Highlands, a bit about Nessie and seeing Nessie, and then it was the same night I saw a bunch of UFOs.
Uh,
And another thing I've not told you is magic mushrooms grow in abundance in the Highlands, which is absolutely true.
is
And
it good?
yeah,
I'm moving up to Inverness in 27.
are you?
Yes,
Why are you moving to Inverness?
I will tell you for why. So I am basically I sold my pub about 4 months back, and I found a lodge up on Loch Ness. You own a
Okay.
bit of the loch, that's where I'll find Nessie.
Yeah.
And okay, without going into heavy figures, it's about 140 grand, a 3 bedroom lodge. I want to go up there, buy it outright, and just live like a hermit for the rest of my life. And
They're actually getting a comedy scene up there, so
pardon?
they're starting to get a comedy
I'm
scene
saying
up there. So
there's not a comedy club there yet, and my final sort of ambition is with this podcast to turn it to do it like 4 hours a night in a comedy club, but there's always someone on, but in front of a live audience also.
Yeah.
But all still streamed. Do not do it on TV so we can say whatever the hell we want still. And
So Inverness isn't big enough to have a full-time comedy club, but it's
you know, is it not? No,
nah,
it's like
it's
80,000 people there. It's nothing.
something like that. But
Yeah.
the church is still quite heavily involved in stuff up there. So
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Okay.
But there's a couple of people, I can't remember his name now, but there's someone I can drop you a note of who's up there for when you get up. He runs a couple of nights up there, so he keeps asking me to go on, but I never go back up. So
I see like Scott in Scotland, Edinburgh killing it, Glasgow killing it. Like, is you say it's sort of growing in Highlands? I mean, would you say amateur open mic, like basically non-theatre, non-stadium comedy, is growing?
uh that's really difficult because so I ran a night here. Still, well, I ran two nights here with one of my friends. We've dropped one of them completely. The other one we're on a bit of a hiatus for a couple of reasons. One being the pub's been ghosting us for a couple of months.
Okay.
Um, but our open mic night had no one turning up, and then we managed to build a bit of an audience with it, and we had regulars coming. And so we would have sort of 30 people coming along on a Sunday night. Doesn't sound huge, but it would fill the room.
Yeah.
30 people. Comedians are happy about it because they're playing to an audience that isn't another bunch of comedians at the back of the room,
Hmm.
and they're actually laughing. But we were the only night in Middlesbrough.
Right. Okay.
Um, and Middlesbrough's quite big. So we've dropped it because it was a lot of work. The person I was running the night with, she moved to Manchester. Um, so I was just like, oh, let's give it a break. And then neither of us can be arsed going back to the one that wasn't making us any money.
Yeah.
So uh, since we dropped that, a couple of other nights have popped up, but no one's going to them. So
What?
I
Why do you think that is?
I've no idea. I think you've got to build an audience. You've got to have some consistency in what you're doing.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it depends on the area. I don't think there's a massive comedy audience in Middlesbrough. I mean, I generally have to travel at least an hour
Yeah.
to get a gig these days. It's very rare I get one round here.
I mean, I'm sort of two ways thinking on this. One of mine, I mean, London has tilted me forever. It's blackened my heart. So everything I say is I'm a very glass half empty prick. So my thing is that people who aren't getting enough stage time, they'll start their own nights, and rightly so.
That's why we did it.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
But then I think some people they won't get stage time because they're not good enough. Then they'll start their own nights. Look at me, I'm now the greatest. I run my own night. But you're then getting the actual true reality of people's perspective on your comedy.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know what? Like, oh, I do it now. I'm going to book me and all my friends. Look how fantastic we are. If it's not going to bang, the audience aren't going to show. There'll be word of mouth. It'll probably take 3 or 4 times. Like, you're one. If you brought on the good acts, if you do a good night, it will grow.
Yeah, we curated it quite carefully. So our ethos when we ran it was everyone can get a spot. You're we're so long as you're not a dick, you can have a spot in the night. But we'll tell you when, and we would stack it so we would have people that were sort of more established just doing new stuff. And we would make sure they're on so the audience is going to have a good time because they know what they're doing. And then, we'd be about 50-50 new comedians, but then we would be careful about where we placed people as well.
Okay, so how do you decide that?
Um, Videos, people we know, word of mouth, so recommendations, stuff like that as
So,
well. So
so well,
yeah.
so I bought some new shelves and stuff, and as I don't have a dad in my life, never did, I used Gorilla Glue to stick them up, and they've all just fallen down. That was the one that held the Nando sauce. So, sorry, how do you go to deciding who's going to be on, when, and where?
So It'd be word of mouth. So in green rooms, finding out someone going, oh, they'd be good for your night. You should get them on.
Yeah.
People we've seen at other nights. Obviously friends, and then if we don't know people, watching videos. So
Okay. And
see,
how
seeing
how do how
people.
do people like find you and apply to you?
We have a web form, but I wouldn't fill it in at the moment because we've probably got a backlog of about 100 people that we need
Oh,
to
it's
work through.
ridiculous.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, if you ever needed to start a mailing list in life, just start a comedy club as a
yeah,
false persona. I did
yeah,
I did a post a while back to see who wants to come on the pod when I just started, and it's had over 500 applicants. But I then changed my mind. I was like, no, I'm going to find the people I want to talk to,
yeah.
like the interested people. If I see a cool video, I'll be like, no, or so I'm like, no, I want to go talk to this guy.
Cool.
Uh, as well. So doing your so would you do like strong open, couple of newies in the middle, always a strong close?
Yeah, well, we always had a break as well.
Yeah,
So we'd have strong open, you guys, strong-ish closer before the break.
yeah.
So, someone who isn't a pro just doing new material, so they're doing a New York night, but someone who's building up to that. And then we would do the same in the second half.
Okay,
And we generally try and have about 6 to 8 people on
yeah.
and no more.
Is it a bringer, Kenny?
It's a bring me a pint when I want
Ah,
one.
them terms, them terms. The one I did last night. I've got to the stage where I'm doing some paid work, but the one I was at last night was like, okay, comedians get to drink for free. I'm like, oh, you've been better off just paying me, mate. To be
Yeah,
honest.
do you know if it was a weekend gig, they would be cheaper paying me
Well,
than.
it was a Saturday night. Loved it to be honest.
Do
So
you drink before you go on stage?
yes, I do.
I can't.
I went. I went in ones when I started off was always not gonna drink. To be fair, I mean I don't understand why comedians always carry a bottle of water with them. I'm a I always think my theory on this has changed. I think it depends what type of drunk you are. If
Yeah,
you're a sleepy drunk or an angry drunk, don't. I'm a happy drunk. I'm a jolly drunk, so Joe, I'm going up having fun.
yeah. See, I'll completely lose my train of thought in my set if I do
Yeah.
it, and I'll more than likely go over. If I'm emceeing, I'll happily have a drink. But if I'm doing my set, I won't have a drink till after I've done it.
Okay.
So if it's comedians drink free, you want to put me on at the end to save money.
Yeah. So okay, okay. I love asking this question to compares. Then okay, say you go right, Dan. I'm gonna give you a shot. I'll give you a slot. You got six people on. Let's say I'm second on. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not half time after me. There's another comedian on after me. Okay, and I go on, and I am the most offensive person in the world. I call every audience member's mum a slag. I just am the most worst comedian you've ever seen. I leave to everyone booing at me, booing me off. As the compare, how would you bring the room back?
So I haven't got enough experience comparing to do this effectively, but like the first thing I would do, so I've seen this happen.
Mm,
Um and the compare was brilliant when he dealt with it. Because the guy came on, he was a new comedian, he was shit, he was talking about rape jokes and things like that. Um And the compere basically took the mic, walked down to where the guy's friends were sitting, and
yeah.
just asked the girls, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And it just brought the audience back. Um, but that was a small room. Other than that, I don't know. I find out if I have to think about something, I won't come out with something good. But if I
In the
had went
moment,
on the pressure, I'd be like, I'm phoning Childline or something like that. But
yeah. I mean, so because obviously people, new people have to send you videos. You'll have to watch them, all that. Do you watch the whole set, or do you just get a general vibe?
fuck no.
I'm agree.
No, no, you watch your opener, and then if that's okay, you might skip on a couple of bits and see what they're doing. And if it's ultra comedy, you just bin it. Um,
Uh, if
well,
you,
it's if it's their showcase, you bin it
yeah, it's gonna be a
because
false sense of reality.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah, I get that. To be honest. I mean, like, I would say I owned a recruitment company from 2016 to 2020, and I always said I was shocked. I probably look at a CV for 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Like if it's a two-edged keywords, bum bum, yep, cool. And I was
I
doing high tech positions.
I get
Like
that.
I couldn't imagine being like, right, someone who says, right, I get 100 applicants, 10-minute videos. I'm going to sit down and watch every one of them. Fuck that. That's that's a full-time job on its own.
Do you know, a lot of the time, what I'll do is I'll go and look at their Instagram,
Yeah,
um, and just see what they've got on their Instagram as well, because that gives you a sense of what they think they're like. Not,
it does, but also, what was the say? A broken clock's right twice a day.
yeah,
Like, and that's the thing I think about crowd work and stuff. Like, I love crowd work, but when it's a reel of a crowd work, it's like I could be a crowd work comedian. I could bomb for 10 minutes. I could do one good joke. Oh, there you go. There's the clip. Look how great I am.
yeah, and the thing is, right, what I've found is audiences now, because they're so used to seeing the likes of Paul Smith. Don't get me wrong, he is an absolute
Don't.
genius in what he
Yeah.
does. Um, but they look at what Paul Smith's doing, and they expect all comedy to be the same.
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of like, no, there's a point when you can heckle. There's a point when you do that. And he's telling you that in his show, but you're
Yeah.
not getting that from your 2 minute video that you're watching on Facebook because it's popped up because you've liked something Reform posted or something like
Yeah.
that.
No, very true. It's almost a false sense of reality. Like, bringing back to my gig last night, there was a guy on called, what was his name? Trevor. And he was a very visual comic, like, like pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Not one bit of crowd work. And I was talking to the Five Essex lads at the bar, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we like it when the comedian interacts with the crowd." I was like, "That 100% could be your cup of tea, but this guy here is amazing.
yeah,
He is amazing." But obviously, you've watched the clips online. You've come for the crowd work. You don't understand like what this guy's doing is genius. But I said, if you heckle him, though, I don't know where he could go with it.
yeah.
They're
I
very
mean,
different types. I mean, how's your crowd work coming along?
uh, it's not great. I mean, I've had a few heckles from drunk people that I've been able to deal with, but it's mainly because it's young guys with mullets and stuff like that. So it's pretty fucking easy. It's just
Yeah.
like, that's rich coming from someone who thinks that it's okay to get their hair cut with a hedge trimmer and things. So,
At least it's not
um,
died. At least it's not died, Kenny. Have you done that yet, or did you go gracefully into the grey night?
I didn't dye my hair. I used to dye my beard. Um,
Right. Okay.
so and I still use a shampoo that keeps it dark, but it's not a dye on my beard. But I have a reason for that,
That's a
and that's
cop out. That's a side road.
yeah. But my reason for this, right, is we're coming up to the winter, and I'm
Right.
quite a fat bloke. So if I've got a white beard and I put a red jumper on, I'm going to get chased down the street by 7-year-olds.
Oh, or you've got a guaranteed work in December.
A good
To be
point. Yeah.
honest, I love that. My niece is, I want to say she's 3 this November. So it's the first time I'm ever going to be able to dress up as Santa. And I'm really looking forward to that. To be honest, like being fat has that one perk. To be honest, like being able to do that. So, what's the one I love asking? What's the worst thing you've ever seen on stage?
Worst thing. So the guy who did rape jokes is the worst I've ever seen anyone go down. So it was his second ever gig. It was a
Right,
night in Leeds, called Scratch and Sniff. And Scratch and Sniff is a bit of an alternative comedy night, and they've
right,
they've got the usual. They're there going, look, it's just a safe place. It's a bit
yeah,
woke, but I love the guys who run it and stuff. This guy came on. His opening joke was about how his girlfriend had a pet name for him, and it turned out the pet name was Rape, and the whole premise was that he was on top of her and she was saying rape. So it didn't work for the audience for a start, but it also isn't funny.
See, that's the bit I always like to hear when I ask this question. Is it because we'll talk about that? Can you joke about anything in a second? Someone can just have a bad crowd. Like someone can
Yeah,
be like, look, a bad topic, but you try and look for the funny. Okay,
Yeah,
why did you think this was funny?
yeah. But the
Just drawn a
thing I
blank
think he
on it.
missed from the whole bit of the routine was that there's got to be something that the crowd can relate to and appreciate, even if
And you
it's
don't want to
something
relate
that,
to that, do you?
well, it's not, but they can relate to the fact that, people do this and it's ridiculous. So you have to point something like that out. Whereas he didn't get that bit. He just thought it's funny to say I rape people. Um, and it's not, and it wasn't a persona he was doing either. It was just him.
Yeah.
And the rest of his set was similar. So it's like if you're new and that's what you've seen online and you think, oh, I'm going to be a bit of an edgelord, then try it. But you've got to learn the craft before you can go and do something
One
as
million, one million
extreme.
percent. Nothing wrong
Yeah.
being an edgelord. You've got to earn your stripes first.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is when I saw a comedian on last Wednesday, and he was a bit of an edgelord, but after every joke he said, he apologised. And I was
Oh
like, well,
no.
you've lost all credibility. If you're going to be a prick on stage, you've got to be a prick on stage. You can't
Yeah.
apologise after every joke. You've got to own it, and then hopefully, the crowd will reciprocate it. But you know, he did jokes that weren't, they might not have been best taste, but he's got the right to say anything he wants.
But I can also tell you on a
Please.
different slant what the worst visual thing I've ever seen on stage was. And this was about 20 years, in fact, probably more ago. And it was in Edinburgh at the festival. And I don't have you been up to the festival?
I'm not. I'm going fringe next year. I'm taking
Cool.
my show up, but
So there's a night that it's like loads of comedians from around get 5-10 minutes to go on. It's called Late and Live, and it's a complete bear pit. You go on knowing the audience is going to be baying for you and screaming, and you get some quite big names do it occasionally. And I was there one night, and Johnny Vegas was on the stage, and
why is it always Johnny Vegas? Okay,
oh, he
this
was
episode
so drunk.
117. I have asked people this question every single pod. This is the fourth time he's come up.
So, so it's probably doing something similar to what others have said as well. So,
I'll
and
tell you if I've heard it before.
yeah, he was great, but he started going over his time, and then he started losing the crowd, and then he took all his clothes off.
Yep.
And the only, which is not a nice sight, Johnny Vegas crawling on his hands and knees on the stage. And the only way that they managed to get him off stage was Adam Hills came off and kind of took him, put a bottle of Bailey's in front of him and guided him off with a bottle of Bailey's,
That bit's
which
funny.
it was hilarious seeing it, but it's also one of the most disgusting things I've seen on
Yeah.
stage.
I mean, what was what I got? So he did a gig in a church, or like an ex church. There were some nuns there, and he took a shit on the stage.
Oh,
I know, but I think it's funny. I'll tell you what I think it's funny. I've said this also many times, that he came out in the news the other day. Johnny Vegas has been diagnosed with ADHD. It's like, no shit.
no shit,
Do
Sherlock.
you know what I mean? God, I spotted that a mile off, to be honest. And yeah, this was a chubby Johnny, wasn't it? Not skinny Johnny.
Yeah, yeah, it was very chubby Johnny, like
God,
bigger than me, and that's saying something. So
I mean the stories I've heard about that guy, but he's got the right to do it.
I
He's got the right to do it, and
yeah,
the audience have got the right to judge.
and don't get me wrong, I've been to see him since. I think he's hilarious, but
Yeah,
it was like, oh God,
yeah. And somehow he still becomes a TV panelist.
yeah.
Like how did the BBC not filter that one out? You know, that's
Uh,
ridiculous.
eh, Good editing.
Yeah, there's like 10-hour long TV
Yeah,
shows, but cut down into 20 minutes because Johnny's just doing shit all the way through it. Uh, I love Johnny Vegas though, and
yeah.
so again, he's got the right to do it. You can. I'll ask your opinion. Can you joke about anything?
I touched on it earlier. Yes, you can. You can say whatever you want on stage, um, but you have to be prepared for what happens with it. Now, I think you can say whatever you want on stage because the audience will tell you if it's acceptable and funny immediately. so you'll know if you're right or wrong. And if you go over the realms of acceptability, there will be consequences. So long as you're not breaking the law,
Yeah,
and I've got another opinion on that, but so long as you're not breaking the law, then go and say whatever you want. But if you turn out to be a bit of an ass and people don't agree with you, don't be surprised that you don't get gigs. Don't be surprised
yeah,
that, people don't want to talk to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
100, yeah, you can say what you want, but then you got to also prepare for the consequences also.
Yeah.
But the audience on the live reaction, like I said, I got hated on by another comedian. All the other, there was six of us on. Three of the comedians had the compare, said I was brilliant. The crowd standing ovation,
Yeah.
but two comedians didn't like it and decided to go. One of them decided to go vocal about it. Well, he's got the right to do that. He's got the right to do that. But who does it say more about? So, what's your take about? You said you had that other take
So
about
so
the
in,
law.
in Scotland, and despite being Scottish, I've only gigged in Scotland a couple of times. But in Scotland, they brought in this new law. I'm not quite sure of it, but it's a law where you can't say things about that could be considered hate speech, but the term was so broad in the law that pretty much anything most comedians said, they could technically arrest you for and do stuff about it. And I don't think it's the government's responsibility to censor art.
A
And
million
people,
percent.
yeah,
Million percent. Yeah.
and it is art what we do, whether
It is.
people agree or not. It's art. It's
Yeah.
it's sitting and writing and creating, which is art. So
Yeah. It's the same as a painting. Like, do you know what I mean? There's some paintings that it's just like a picture of a banana, and they go for millions of pounds. It's like, well, it's all subjective.
yeah,
Like, you can't critique it. And also, what I always say, one man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter. So
yeah, you
who
just have
who
to look at
decides?
Kneecap and what's going on with them, and like whether you agree with it or not, it's all a big ridiculous situation. So
Agree. Well, I can't remember his name. Was it? Oh, the guy who shouted "death, death" to the IDF. That guy at Glastonbury. Look, do I think he's a bellend? Yes. But has he got the right to say it? Yes. We
yeah,
can't censor free speech on any angle. All you got to say is, you know what? That's not my cup of tea.
yeah.
That's it. That is what, and a civilized society should have to can make that decision. Normal people should make that decision. Or are we really now pandering to the lowest public?
Well, so society seems to be going the same way music is. Um, so when I was younger, we had good music.
Yeah,
This is what old people say all the time. But you would have your crappy pop music and Kylie Minogue and all that coming
yeah.
out as well. But you also had the choice, and it was in the charts and stuff of good music. And now all you have is Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift and Coldplay
Yeah.
and stuff that, while they might be technically good at what they do, it's Magnolia. It's
A million percent. I remember seeing like, oh, I'm gonna get the name wrong. Who wrote Stairway to Heaven?
Led Zeppelin.
No, I know that one. I know it's Led Zeppelin. Who's the writer? I can't
Oh,
remember.
was it Jimmy Page?
Jimmy Page. That's it.
Yeah.
He wrote that solely by himself. But there was a song that came out like I'm talking about 8 years ago. It was called like Baby, not just to be. It was like Baby, Baby, Be My Baby, something like that. And there was like 52 people who wrote this generic three words over and over again. And
Yeah.
just look at the comparison. And do you know what I mean? Like Stairway to Heaven, like, and this probably is out purchased, out bought, out watched Stairway to Heaven probably 10 times over. But it's
Yeah.
generic and it's shit and it's feeding people shit. I mean, I think the same in comedy. You can play it safe, you know, but is it truly what the people want?
Someone asked me the other day, so I've just it'll be a surprise to people listening, I think, that comedy isn't my full-time job because there's so much money in comedy. Um, but I started a new job about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and someone asked me, they found out I do stand-up comedy, and he said, "So, how do you write your routines? Do you just get AI to do it?"
Raw.
And I was like, "What?" But it's almost like acceptable that, there's a formula to everything that people do, and that's so if there's a formula, machines can just do it for you. And that's where the world's going just now. It's like there's a formula to the world. So the formula is, you know, you don't say anything bad about these people, you don't say anything bad about these people, you ignore what's going on over there because they've got oil, and that's how the formula works. And that's what seems to be going into society. And it's
Does
our
it have a
job.
place in comedy?
Sorry?
Does it have a place in comedy?
No, it's our job to subvert all this.
Yeah, oh, I do. I 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. I mean, I spoke to Ada Bloom on this. AI is look. I use AI for like when with the YouTube page, right in the description. I
Yeah.
use AI for that because I Joey, like I wrote a description for that. I would never even dare to try and say something on stage. That was AI. Even like musicians, like you can't. But I'm now like speaking like the lowest common denominator of society. Would they recognise it?
I don't think a lot of them would
That's
because,
scary.
yeah, but I don't think it's anything other than they're so used to getting mundane crap like Ed Sheeran and Coldplay. I hate Ed Sheeran and Coldplay.
Yeah. Oh, but I tell you, something I do worry about. Like, I like watching AI videos. I like watching them. There was one that came out, and it was based in Hogwarts, and it was basically like they were the Beatles, and it was a really generic song. And it was like Harry Potter was John Lennon, Dobby was Paul McCartney, um, Harrison Ford was Ron Weasley, and Snape was fuck me, give me the full Ringo. And but it was so funny, and I watched it. I was like, you know what, this is brilliant. It's a catchy song. It's well written. It's a great video. It was all 100% AI.
However, there's no way AI thought of that themselves. So someone has created that. They've just used AI to visualize it, which is different.
Well, to visualize it, to do the audio, the lyrics were AI as well. It was all 100 AI. So my sort of that was sort of the premise. My point was, so how long is it going to be till in the future? Like, say your generic shit, you had Sheeran, your Taylor Swift, all that, till they never actually have to write music ever again. It's the only thing that's the royalty is their voice
Yeah.
and their image, not the actual creativeness. How marketable you are as a person.
It's 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 really bloody worrying though, because eventually when they go, if it goes down that road, then someone's going to go, why do we even need to like market their voice? Why don't we just create our own voice and use that one and just take all the
Yeah,
money?
oh, oh god, I'm about to expose my. You know, I said I don't cut anything. I don't edit anything. This is why I really should start doing it. So, the adult industry, okay, the adult entertainment industry, the hub. You all know it. The adverts now. It's like, hi, I am your AI mistress. I am your AI. This. So it's even gone into that industry. It's like they've generated like what they perceive as like the perfect looking woman,
Yeah.
AI them, be like, look, I can be your girlfriend. And
And
that is like
what
so
you type
fucking
in what you
scary.
want her to do and stuff. Or
Yeah, yeah. Tell how do you know, Kenny? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, no,
Oh,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
asking.
yeah, yeah.
I'm asking and
No,
I'm
no, you're
taking
not asking. You're
notes.
telling me, Kenny. You're giving me. If I'm going down, you're coming with me.
No, I am asking, but I am taking notes for later, so I can.
What sites are these so I know where to
Yeah.
avoid? But like I said, so it's jumped into that industry, like music. Yeah, they will be in. I want to say 5 years, might be sooner. Complete AI generated pop stars.
Yeah. Do you know we don't even know if they don't already exist? I mean, you've got K-pop, and what the hell is that?
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. I've never jumped on that bandwagon. Don't get the don't
Well,
get the hype. Don't get the hype.
my youngest, so I've got two daughters, and my youngest's getting well into it, and I'm just scared.
It's Korean pop, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, South Korea must be doing something right.
Yeah,
To be
well,
fair,
what they
they're doing
have,
bangers. They've got some great TV series.
it's all done by formula, isn't it? So I know the K-pop, they send them to like a K-pop academy, and then they get them all together and train them for hours and hours every day on what they do, what they say, what they think,
It's
and
so
then they give them,
robotic.
yeah. But it works. It's all algorithms, except they're just using humans as the algorithm.
I still think, okay, I'm a massive Warhammer 40k nerd. Okay,
Yeah, so I'm going to end the call.
hold on. So, and you know, it's just like there's some planets where it's just we are the equivalent of ants.
Yeah,
Like we've now evolved to a stage now where just dumb us all down, just do all the mind control. It's like everything now is pushing what can make your life easier. So no, what can make your life easier? But depression's now at an all-time high. It was I was speaking to this African woman the other day. It was about 2 months ago. Not, it's always the other day, isn't it? Every time we tell a story, it's always the other
yeah,
day. And it was talking about depression. She was like, "Oh, we don't have depression in Africa. We're too busy." And I was like, "That is so true.
yeah.
They haven't got time to be depressed." And like, I don't know, we've gone down this rabbit hole, but AI does not have a place in comedy. It's lazy man formula. You need to be sort of subjective, and comedy is about pointing up a mirror and raising and questioning society. So
Yeah.
if they're now saying you can't freedom of speech, you can't joke about things, that's breaking that mirror.
Yeah. And it's a segue from where we were with AI and stuff like that and bringing us back to comedy. I'm considering doing a character act.
Okay,
I don't know if I'll ever get round to it because it's just a random thought came into my head about like all the conspiracy theories and stuff that people are starting to believe about this. So going on stage as someone who believes all the conspiracies and sort of ranting about them on stage.
right.
And it's because I've gone down a rabbit hole where I've started listening to conspiracy podcasts. But from the point of view, I'm like, this is ridiculous. These people are hilarious in what they think.
Okay,
And
but there must be. Is there one conspiracy where you're like, you know what, this has got some legs?
there's probably loads, but I mean,
But then you could tell me them ones, and I could be like, what a fucking weirdo. But I believe in this one, and you could be like, what a fucking weirdo.
absolutely. Well, this is half the point of what I'm going to do as the act is going on trying to do that. But the main reason I want to do it is, those masks you can get that it's almost like they're printed on like thick tights or something. Look like
Yes.
Kanye.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're on about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I want to get one of those with my face printed on it.
Right.
Go on stage. So looking around as this character, and then go, yeah, it's okay, I'm safe. They're not here, and take a mask of my face off to have my face below it, just
Brilliant.
because I think that would be hilarious. And I've got none of the rest of the act, but I'm going to go and buy this mask just because I want to do it.
The only bit I'd challenge on that is if you're gonna do the character, but the character's you. I get it, but they would need to know who you are first.
Well, no, they would see the mask and think, oh, there's someone wearing a mask, and it's just a
Right.
random person on it. And then I take it off and they look at me and just go, it's the same person as was on the mask we just
No, no,
saw.
no, no. So I
What do you
get.
do?
I do get.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a bit.
I think it would work better if they didn't know who I was.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you said like, look, I put this mask on because I want to be an unknown alias.
Yeah,
I think you'd
yeah.
have to like describe heavily that the person that before. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, I've
what?
not thought, it's just something that's been niggling
No, I
at
think
me.
that's
I've not
interesting. I think
thought
that's
it
interesting.
through.
You could almost do like the Ken Clark Superman thing. It's like Ken Clark Superman. Like no, no, or like draw like this like a mole on the face. Be like, no, that guy had a mole.
Yeah.
I don't know who he was. Like, see, clearly different people.
But my problem with doing a character act is I've got really no personality other than the one you've seen today. So it's like, how can I pretend I've got another one because I can't act? So
Yeah. I mean, when I started comedy, I tried to be someone different. Like, not character, but I tried to be like, really energetic and like, hi, guys.
Yeah.
and I'll just slowly go back to myself and just my mundane, boring self.
Yeah, see, I do not do anything like what I thought I would be as a comedian when I'm on stage. So I
Do Lee
like
Evans, yeah, up and down the stage.
not quite, but I like sort of surreal stuff a lot of the time, Vic and Bob and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
Um, I mean, I like all comedy. Don't get me wrong, I like all comedy, but that's the sort of stuff that really appealed to me and thought I could do that. And it turns out that, you know, you don't choose what comedy you do.
Yeah.
You fit into what's best for you.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. It's like I can never do one line comedy. I got
Oh,
one
neither
line
can I.
jokes. I just couldn't do it. And I got there's nothing wrong with the art. I respect. Do you know what I mean? Them who do it, and some of them is my guilty pleasure. But I get bored. Like
Yeah.
I get bored of it, to be honest. So I go. I'll do this one. What's been your favourite moment on stage, and what time have you personally bombed the hardest?
Right. I don't know if I've got a favorite moment.
I
I
don't
think
care about the favourite moment, to be honest.
cool.
I only care about
Right.
the bombing. That's the bit I love.
So,
I love the worst. I love hearing comedians' worst moments because
so,
I love hearing it. Also, I love hearing that shit. You did that and you still got back up on stage the next day.
so,
Right.
there's probably around gongs. So I did. So, right.
I love a gong.
I fucking hate them.
Right.
I did Beat the Frog in Manchester, which I actually quite liked. But it was the first gong I ever did, and this isn't the worst gig. This is just me leading up to it. I walked on stage. I used to go on wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I don't know why. Um, I walked on stage. It's a studenty type audience. I'm a
Yeah.
middle-aged man wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Before I even got to the mic, someone had held up a card. So it's kind of like,
You not get a grace period up there.
sorry.
You not get a grace period.
Not a Beat the Frog, no, but
Yeah.
it was only one card. I think I lasted a minute and a half
Okay.
out of the five. Um, so I was like, I don't like gongs, but I'd already booked in a couple of others. So the next one I did was it was a 7 minute gong.
Okay.
I know, but you got a grace period of 2 minutes at the start.
Right.
Um, and the guy running it, I'm not going to mention his name. I won't mention what the name of the gong show is either, because I know a lot of people like him up here, but some people will work out what I'm talking about anyway. But it was in a horrible pub somewhere in the arse end of nowhere in North Yorkshire.
Okay.
And the crowd were quite partisan anyway, which was okay. I don't mind that.
North Yorkshire gong shows.
But I'll send you the details after.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
But the two guys who were on before me were both shit.
Right. Yeah.
And they said they were shit. They
Yeah.
they were like they hadn't done their best stuff. And they got through. And their mate was a compere. And their mate had been steadily downing pints of Guinness in between all the acts. So I think he was probably between his little bit at the start and then the acts and introducing. He was about 5 pints in
One
that
pint
he
per act. Yeah.
yeah, but he'd been downing them, the crowd seeing how quickly he could do it. So he was hammered. And he had a go at the crowd saying, we're going to be here all fucking night if you let everyone go through. These guys are shit and you let them go through. And then we've got the break coming up soon. And we're never going to get to the break, are we? By the way, here's Kenny Watt.
Oh, you got the pre-scolding bit.
And I was like, oh, fuck. So it was a 7 minute gong. I still lasted for 6.5 minutes,
Yeah.
which I was pretty proud of, given that he's told them to fucking
Yeah,
boot me off
they've been
anyway.
told off, which happens in gong shows. Usually it's after
Yeah.
the first act. They get
Yeah.
told off.
But then the guy who ran the night, who hadn't been on stage or anything, he was sitting in the front row getting pissed as well. And as I got to 6 minutes, he was looking at the people with the cards doing this, like telling them to put their cards up. And it wasn't because he thought I was shit, because he told me after I wasn't shit. It was just because he wanted someone to be gonged off. And I was like, do you know what? This is the worst experience I've had. And it's
Yeah.
not, I would have much rather gone on being shit and told to fuck off
Yeah.
than have all that crap going on. So I
Oh, yeah,
hate gong
that's not
shows.
nice. Like,
Yeah.
no,
But
no,
then
no.
I did a gong show a
Pretty
few weeks
cool.
after that, got to the final, and then just didn't win the clap off. And I've done another one a couple of weeks ago where I got to the final. So I may be thinking they're okay now. So
Yeah. I mean, I was gong. I truly have a love-hate relationship with gong shows. My first ever gig was a gong show, Comedy Store in London. Like
oh,
300
that's a vicious
people.
one.
300 people. I signed up on the day, got it on the day. First time I've ever done comedy. Never wrote a joke before. Lasted a minute 23. Second on, and yeah,
Minute
but
23 there is good.
I said there were 40. There were 40 comedians on the bill. Only two got through. It is ruthless. It's a ruthless night,
Yeah.
but you need them. You know what I mean? You need the stepping stones. Like down here, we've got. I'd say my opinion is Big Belly is the easiest. Then up the creek, then Comedy Store. Like that's completely subjective. People might have different opinions, but Comedy Store is the one to beat.
Yeah.
But but they don't want everyone to be good. Do you know what I mean? They want shit people because they don't want it to last all night. And like I say, if you because when you've got that sense of realization, that reality awareness, if you're sucking dick instantly. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know if it's not a good night. But to be good and then to gong you off at 6:30 just because the promoter's got the arse because he wants to see a bit of blood,
Yeah.
it's like, well, yeah, that would leave a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I don't know, like, did they start gonging people off quicker after that?
Yes.
See, I challenge that again. So it fit its purpose, but it fit its purpose for the night, but not for you.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I don't think I ever would have won it, so it didn't do any harm anyway, because there were people on who were better than me.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if you was filming it and you wanted to make a reel out of it, that'd piss me off. I don't know. My foot's in two camps on that one because it's the promoter's job to make the best night possible, and if he's got to show the audience, look, try a bit of blood, you'll like it.
yeah.
You know,
No, I get what you're saying, but
yeah.
as a comedian, it's
Oh
not
yeah, I'll
nice.
be I'll be here spitting feathers at the time.
Yeah.
100% to be honest. But yeah, I do like gong shows. I do like, but I also think it's a way to bring on loads of comedians and not have to pay people.
Yeah. And they don't actually tell you how good you are as a comedian anyway.
No, they don't.
Like,
No, there's no measure. There's no metrics. I mean, how do you? Okay, here's one. I'm sort of worrying that I'm stagnating. I'm doing more comedy gigs, but I don't. How do you measure if you're getting better as a comedian?
uh, I'm doing fewer gigs, and that's how I'm measuring it because I'm now doing gigs where I'm being asked to go and do the gig.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Yeah,
and I'm trying to not just do every gig that I possibly can. So before I would be like going every open mic there was, and then like getting the odd bit of paid work chucked at me as well.
yeah,
Whereas now I'm either doing gigs and open mics for friends who are asking me to do them, or if it's a night I've never done before or something like that, I'll say, can I go on? And then I'm doing other stuff that I've been asked to go along and do, and then I might occasionally go for the odd paid one that they're looking for people to apply for. Um, and I base it wholly on audience reaction and feedback from the guy running the night.
okay, fair enough. I think the audience because you can have bad nights, good nights, but I wish there was sort of like a metric system in place to say, yeah, I'm getting better. Like the gym, there's obvious visual, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
scales. Look in the mirror tells you you're getting better or not. I like, how do you know when you're ready to go to the next level, or does it choose you?
I think it chooses you probably, but I mean, there's a lot of it. I've seen people who are ready to go at the next level and just haven't asked anyone if they can have a gig. So
Yeah, I guess a lot of it is just putting yourself
yeah,
out there, to
yeah.
be honest.
And then I've seen people getting paid stuff who are not rated by anyone I know at all, but they're
Yeah.
still getting paid work. So
I mean, it is a quite a not bitchy community, but it's a chatty community.
Yeah.
People like to talk.
Yeah, you don't gossip about anyone in comedy because that gets you in trouble, except all comedians gossip all the time.
Yeah, and don't do a public Facebook post about someone either. God, that's fun, isn't it? Using my name as clickbait. What a little prick. But all publicity is good publicity. I die on that hill. Kenny, I'll end it with this one, mate. I ask at the end of every pod. Um, Someone's never done comedy before. They come up to you and say, Kenny, I'm thinking of doing stand up. Can you give me some advice? You can't say just do it.
So someone who's never done it before,
Never done it. They're thinking of doing it and they want your advice.
watch as much comedy as you possibly can before you even think about going near the stage, um, because it's not just what's on the TV or what's on the internet. You have to go and see what people are doing on stage, to learn the craft. Talk to as many people as you can, and get as much advice about it. And see your set that you've written out in your bedroom. Get rid of two-thirds of it. Right.
How do you know what two-thirds to get rid of?
I don't mean the concepts. I just mean go through, and each sentence there's going to be two-thirds of the words in
Oh,
that
yeah,
sentence
okay,
you
yeah.
don't need.
Yeah, yeah. But when you say go watch comedy, do you mean go watch the best, the greats, or
No,
go
all
go to your open mic?
you do everything. So go and watch someone smash it in a theater, but also go to your local pub where there's five people. The comedians will appreciate it, and then eventually they'll give you a gig if they want you anyway. Um, but also you need to see people not do well to realize that that's the norm.
Yeah, yeah. That's reality, and don't be afraid of bombing. It
Yeah.
happens. It's part of the process. And no one gives a crap. No one gives a crap about you. Like, I know it's a harsh reality, but you'll be forgotten about the next day. So it doesn't matter if you're worried about no one laughing.
Yeah. Unless you go on and do rape jokes but can't back them up with any humor behind them. Then
Yeah.
everyone in that audience remembers you 2 years down the line.
Yeah. Okay. I will also say that, I will add on to that real quick. Be careful what you do say because unfortunately we do live in this world right now where HR would love to watch the video.
Yeah,
So you're gonna say something, be careful where you work. Until you do it full time, then you can do whatever the hell you want, to be
absolutely.
honest.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. Kenny, man, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, brother. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, I've absolutely loved it. Thanks for having me.
And cheers, guys. Thank you for watching.
Cheers.
Bye.